Hey everyone, this is July 1st and we're really excited about all the good reads that we're coming through the summer months with. My name is Suzanne Moore, County Librarian. I'm going to introduce Amanda Parks. She's our new Assistant Serve Manager. And so today we're going to talk about all the highlights for good reading this month. Of course there's tons of books out there, but these are some of the few that we want to mention to begin with. First thing to let you know about is every first Saturday of the month we have a film. It used to be at the cinema, but we've recently acquired a movie license to show movies here in the library. So this Saturday we're actually showing the film Cloud Atlas. This is chosen because we've been reading the book by David Mitchell at our branch library as part of the Reading Track Book Club selections. So you can tell maybe this is Tom Hanks and Halle Berry, top of the line actors, actress. Going to be a great story. I'm just going to read you a little blurb from the back. It's about 6 stories spanning centuries and one soul. So Tom Hanks and Halle Berry lead an all-star cast with these interwoven tales of time, and it shifts between the past, the present, and the future. And the characters reunite and they generate all kinds of consequences. For example, a killer in one story will eventually evolve into a hero. And that's an act of kindness in one story will then inspire a revolution. So things are going to change up as you go through this film. Cloud Atlas. It combines science fiction, drama, mystery, action, and romance into a film that's utterly, wonderfully epic, according to the blurb on the back. I haven't seen it myself, but I have read some little content warnings. This is not for all ages. It is an R film. So there may be some scenes of triggering of emotion in here that you know, if you feel like that's going to happen to you, you don't want to come out, that's understandable, but try it and see what you think. We will have popcorn on hand, something cold to drink. We'll be in the meeting space at 1 o'clock this Saturday for our Keeping It Real movie. And as I mentioned, the same movie is going to be discussed at our branch library on July 11th out in Trap Hill. We have a group called the Reading Trap, and they're reading these books because they're in Trap Hill. The Reading Trap is meeting July 11th at noon. So come and join us. And before I get you off the hook with that train of thought, August, we're going to be reading another book called A Taste for Death. This is a mystery by P.D. James. P.D. stands for Phyllis Dorothy. She is a British writer. And the story Taste for Death is there's a detective in all of her books, and Adam Dalages, I can't pronounce his last name, sorry, but we'll figure that out. He's a reoccurring detective throughout all the stories, and so in this investigation for this story, he's going to explore a web of sinister activity surrounding a half-burnt diary, a violet-eyed widow who is pregnant and full of malice. Wow. So find out about this one. And this is the book to read for August, if you want to read that, and we'll have a film for this as well. Let's see what we got to do. The next conversation, every month, another reoccurring book club takes place on the second Friday at 10, and it is our Talking Service Book Club. They read pieces from this huge volume. They don't read this whole volume every month. That's a lot. But there's short little excerpts there in this anthology that are read and discussed. This is called Standing Down from Warrior to Civilian. And as I said, Talking Service Book Club. It's targeted to our veterans, but it's available for anyone who wants to learn and understand about war, crossing cultural boundaries, understanding about the sacrifices our veterans are making. So in July the 12th at 10 a.m. here at the library, the selection that they're going to be reading is called Revisiting My Memoir, and it's written by Edward J. Wood. Now, he is a World War II veteran who was wounded, earned a Purple Heart, but what happened with his story, he wrote a memoir, and then years later he revisits his memoir, and he reflects again on what he was able to, what he endured, what he survived, and how he felt on that, thinking back. which is a great kind of thing that the Talking Service Book Club members do. They think back and they reflect on their own experiences and connect to what they're reading about in this book. And if you would like to join us, again, 10 o'clock on the 12th, July 12th, hope to see you there. And we will now move on to Marlene's book club. You may or may not know Marlene, but we're going to fill you in on some of the things that happen with her group. They meet here at the the main library. Okay.
And they have great conversations in there. So
they do. They have a lot of fun talking about all sorts of things. And so recently they read a book about the circus of baseball. So to kind of play off of that conversation, everybody's really excited about the minor league baseball team in Asheville. That was what the story was about. We have a baseball team here in our county. Have you seen any of their games yet?
I haven't.
I
need to.
You'll love it. It's fun. Okay, so it's at the Patriots Park, which is at the local VFW, and I went to work the gate one night with some auxiliary folks from the VFW, and one of those players, I mean, they had a pristine white Wilkes Central High baseball uniform on, but when he slid into third, he was orange clay covered all down. I was like, wow, he's really into it. So it's really fun to watch those old games. Did your kids ever play ball? Or
Yeah, we did. Oh, yes.
My kids have fun like
now
that.
the Moonshiners, they're using like the green and gold, right? That's their colors.
That's their colors.
Like, okay.
They play different teams, and of course, different teams come and use that park. So I'm not sure exactly who's playing that night. I think it's a Moonshiners game. It has to be. It has to be a Moonshiners game because we got half price tickets, y'all. Our post commander, knowing that we're the library book club, and all proceeds go to benefit the VFW and the team, of course. But
in order to get that, though, you need to contact Marilyn.
Call Marilyn, right? And
email her, call her, or something to get those tickets.
Right. You have her number, right? It's,
actually, her extension here is 242, so it'll be 336-838-2818, extension 242.
Right. Just call Marlene up and let her know, because they're going out to the ballpark on July 16th. It's a Tuesday. They always meet, is it every third Tuesday?
They would meet in the library at 4 o'clock, but that's not going to be the case this time. We're going to go still on the 16th, but you're going to be at 6 o'clock for a discussion at the ballpark, and then at 7, I think, is when the game starts.
Yeah, and then you're just going to hang out and watch a game together.
Yeah,
and
she said to bring a chair and have a good time.
Yeah, there are some bleachers, but they're kind of rinky-dink. They're supposed to be getting better bleachers.
Oh, that's good.
In the meanwhile, bring your own comfy folding chair.
Right.
And
she'll make a little area for you.
Yeah, it'll be so fun. Hopefully it won't be so hot, but I think probably by that time of night things are kind of cooling off a little. It's a good breeze. And they have chicken, barbecue chicken, they have hot dogs, they have
all kinds of
concessions to eat from.
Yeah.
So what they're doing at the ballpark is they're not talking about the baseball book. They're talking about this month's book, and it kind of hinges on the theme Adventure Begins at Your Library. That's our summer reading theme.
Right.
So you want to tell us about that one, Amanda?
Well, a lot of you may have done this in school. I know I did, and I'm glad I did. But it's Gary Paulson's Hatchet. And it won a lot of awards in 1987, but he ended up actually publishing 4 more books in the Brian saga. But it's about a 13-year-old boy, and he's on his way to visit his father when a single-engine plane in which he is flying crashes. And there's a reason that he's flying this plane that you will find out. But he finds himself alone in the Canadian wilderness with nothing but a tattered windbreaker and his hatchet that his mother gave him as a present. So there's a dreadful secret that's been tearing him apart since his parents' divorce. But now Brian has no time for anger, self-pity, or despair, and it will take all his know-how and determination and more courage than he knew he possessed to survive this. So it's a book about, I guess you would say it's, you kind of have to adapt in the face of adversity.
Oh, yeah.
Type things. It's survival, and then you have to, it's a place that he's never been. He's used to having hamburgers and fries and things like that, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with nothing, and you have to learn how to feed yourself at 13 years old in the wild. So then there's the nature and then the animals involved. I think chapter 8 has one where he's got his hatchet and he's got a shelter. You know, he fixes it in different places, so he has his shelter. But in the night, he heard something hiss, and he had this odor, and he wasn't sure, so he threw his hatchet towards the sound, and it kind of sparked on the wall, and it ended up being a porcupine. So he scared the porcupine, and the porcupine in return dropped some of his quills, which have barbs, which are now in his legs. So if anybody's tried to get anything like a fish hook out of your ears, just think about him. So yes, he gets a lot of things that he just wasn't sure that he could handle, but he realized that he had to. And that's one thing about reading books like this, or reading books in general. You can learn something, and you learn how to handle situations that you may not be comfortable with, or situations that you're not used to, and be able to help other people. That's kind of how you start a conversation with others, and by reading books like this, it gives you kind of a starting point.
That's exactly what the book club does. You get to learn from everybody's different views and perspectives, because everybody's lived through different things in their life.
They do, and they have, from different areas of the world and different parts of the country, and there's cultural differences in all areas. And by reading books like this, it helps us to bring that together.
To say that this won a Newbery Honor, or
yes,
that's what that gold seal is. It means it's a really good book, and it's targeted toward the young adult reader, but old adults might enjoy it just as much. Merlin does once a year pick a young adult book for her adult book club to read, and it's fun to relive some of those younger memories as you're going through the adventures of a younger character. But tell them about this one.
You can do, as far as Gary Paulson, he's done things for adults as well as children's nonfiction.
So this is the author.
This is him, and I don't know how close I can get with that, but if he's there, but this is a good picture of him. What some people may not realize is that with the hatchet, and then with the other 4 books that he did with that, it came from real life experiences.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it kind of tells you here, he had a stint as a volunteer emergency worker. So that's where the story comes about the death that became of the pilot in Hatchet. There was plane crashes that he's seen, and his own near misses. It said he takes readers on his first hunting trip, showing the wonder and solace of nature, along with his hilarious mishaps and mistakes. But he shares special memories, such as the night he attracted every mosquito in the county, and how he met the moose who made it personal. That's also in the book. But there's a handy chapter in this one entitled Eating Eyeballs and Guts or Starving. So the fine art of wilderness nutrition is in this book, and there's recipes in there as well. So readers of these hair-raising tales may wonder how Gary Paulson survived to write his books and to tell these humorous stories on himself. Well, the answer is it just took guts. So if you've read this or you haven't read this, go ahead and pick this up, because it's interesting on a lot of his books, is his life experiences.
Yeah, we love to read the book and then learn a little about the author. So that's a lot about what the Reading Trap does. But I'm excited about Hatchet, and I remember as a young middle school teacher, that was a classroom read, and all the kids loved it. So
and he continued that. I think up until 2003 was the last one, was Brian's Hunt, of what they call the Brian Saga.
Well, thank you for the quick review there, because you don't want to miss it. And the book itself isn't too long or difficult to read. It's a quick and easy.
Both of them are great.
We have plenty of these on hand. Stop by and pick one up. We do want to mention, we're in the middle of summer reading, and anybody can participate. You don't have to be a student. Summer reading is for adults of all ages as well. If you track your minutes reading, you're eligible to win some cool prizes. It's an incentive to get kids to read, but it's also fun to win, a snow cone or something just for fun. But anyway, we'll give you more details on our summer reading progress as the summer rolls out. We do have another book to recommend that's been hot on the bestseller list for weeks now across the country. I've seen Christian Hannah on Good Morning News show talking about her book, The Women. I've heard everybody has been reading it, And there is a disclaimer here. There's some more scenes that might be a little bit graphic for sometimes you want to just quickly turn that page or put it down. But check it out and see.
And the cover's nice. That iconic helicopter that you always see when you think of Vietnam and the memories of those. This one is actually, it says, women can be heroes. When 20-year-old nursing student Frances or Frankie McGrath hears these words, it's a revolution. But in 1965, the world is changing, and she suddenly dares to imagine a different future for herself. When her brother ships out to serve in Vietnam, she joins the Army Nurse Corps and follows his path. So, as you could guess, it's a day. Each day is a gamble of life and death, hope and betrayal. But the war is just beginning for Frankie and her veteran friends, because the real battle lies in coming home, and it talks about that to a actually changed and divided America. So The Women is a story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on all women who put themselves in harm's way and whose sacrifice and commitment to their country has too often been forgotten. So what I've been hearing at the circ desk is some people love it, and then some people say they can read a section and they have to put it down because it's very, I think one thing about war and historical fiction as well is that they do a lot of research and kind of put themselves into that position before they even write it, and they do a lot of interviews and a lot of archives and talking, and then they put their heart and soul in writing it. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you read this. It's very popular, and I'm almost done with it myself. So
I'm looking forward to starting it. I went on Spotify. I have a Spotify channel, and I found a playlist for this book of songs from that decade, from that era. And I thought it was ironic. The very first song on the playlist, we're talking about the women. The very first song was "Walk Like a Man," you know. And I was like, well, that's what they had to do over there. They had to fit in, you know. I have heard a lot of people that are really praising the book and how authentic it was. So
yeah, because sometimes the medic corps, the nurses and the doctors and those are medics, they get overlooked in stories, and in this kind of, it brings it to light because they were a big part of survival.
Right. And you know, we've been talking about these military topics with Standing Down, Talking Service Book Club, now the women in Vietnam, and I just remembered of a special story that's taking place Friday for Fantastic Friday. We have veterans come to visit and read, I call it Operation Storytime. He's going to read a favorite childhood story if you give a mouse a cookie. So Lee Starr will be visiting. He is an Army and a Marine veteran in our county, and kicking that off with the kids. And then we'll have a visit from Military and Support Heroes. That's an acronym for MASH, or that's MASH, M-A-S-H, is an acronym for Military and Support Heroes. I know it's a TV show, but there is a nonprofit organization that has llamas that provide llama love therapy to help while dealing with PTSD or kids that are autistic, and different ways to calm and release anxiety by petting on the llamas. So the llamas are visiting. Lee Starr's coming out here as well this Friday for our Fantastic Friday Storytime at noon.
That'd be fun.
That's the kids' highlight for y'all today. I mean, they're having so much fun down there every day with different things. They've got so many good programs this summer. You don't want to miss out on them. Check our website, check our Facebook page, and follow us.
There's a lot of happy faces coming by the desk.
Yes.
They're excited.
And summer's flying by so fast.
It is.
All this we're doing, it's like, wow. But anyway, I hope y'all have a good day, and hope to see you in the library. Stop by and say hi. Let us know what you're reading. If you're reading something really good, we might like to share that, and give us a few of your words about it so we could pass them on to other readers too. Thank you. Bye-bye.